the host. And we're recording.
Awesome. Yay, everybody. We're in cuts. Doesn't it feel good? Hit your numbers, hit a goal. So we're going into like an all in April, and I want to make sure everybody's set up with a pen, a paper, their notebook, your numbers from last month, whether they're big, whether they're small. The reason why it's so important, we have to know where we're coming from and where we want to be so we can fill it and bridge the gap, right? And then my little quote I want to open up with: the next season of ability is dependent on the last season of responsibility. So what that means, that massive March we all just had, we all hit a cut of DAP, Joe hit World Team, Active Soup, Alan and Kurt are getting in the game. It matters because we have to keep moving from that momentum. So what we're going to do, the structures we already have in place, your gauge sheet, right? This is a day-to-day tracker, weekly tracker. So what we all need to do, write down right now on your paper what pin level you're at. What's your next step in the marketing plan? Write this down, guys. You can't see it if you don't write it down. And then if you have it on you, like we kind of posted in the chat, if not, no worries, get it after the call. Write how many clients you helped last month. And then make sure you write the total documented volume you finished March with. Right? And from that, I want you to break down later, if you haven't done it already, break down how much of that came from my satellite club, if you guys are doing any mobile pop-ups. Write down how much came from client orders or PMs, and then write down how much came from your downline, if you have that, okay? And the reason why we're doing this, you're gonna see that, let's say, Kirsa, what's your next level? QP, right?
Yes.
Are you within the pilot program at all?
Yes.
Awesome. So what did you do last month for your documented volume?
So mine was all downline.
Yeah.
I had a shake party, recruited somebody at the party, and then talk about your volume.
Yeah, your volume. Did you finish at 500 or were you at 600? Where did you finish?
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine.
571.
So you finish at 571 and you're within this pilot program. What's your next goal for yourself through April? To hit qualified producer or to hit supervisor?
I would like to hit supervisor.
Right, absolutely. You're within the pilot program. And you guys, sidebar, if you don't know what that is, within 1 to 2 months, doing a total of 2,000 documented volume points, you puts you at a 50% mark. And I will tell you, everything tastes better at 50%. Cool? So let's use Kirsa here. She finished March at 571 documented volume points. And we know that she has 2 months to take advantage of the pilot program. So if she needs 2,000 within that 1 to 2 months that she's in, all we're gonna do is subtract 2,000 minus her 571. So we know she has 1,429 documented volume points to do this month. And now why I had you guys write down where your volume came from, whether it's downline clients or pop-ups, is to understand where all your volume is coming from, right? How many extra clients do we need to get a month? How many new clients do we need to have reorder? How many more mobile parties or shake parties or whatever you're having do you need to do to bridge the gap to that 1,429 to get you to supervisor, right? So for me, I want to do 10K this month. I know I have to do 7,300 documented volume points. So it's more so of seeing, I know I had 7 clients ordering from me this month. I know I had 1 distributor doing work. I know I had nutrition club volume. So now where do I get to step up as an independent distributor, as a business owner, to make sure I can close the gap? So you guys don't ever count out anything that you could do at school, anything that you could do at church, anything extra you could do for Fit Camp. Is it more invites? Is it more pop-ups? Are you adding an extra day? What are you gonna do to close the gap for yourself? Right? Are you guys?
Yeah. Awesome, Priya. So what she's talking about, the gap, is basically like the amount that you're, like, you have to bridge where your goal is next, right? So for Kirsa, like we're just assuming that the 571 points that you had last month, those people are going to reorder. Okay, so those are already accounted for volume points for this month. So you like if you just do exactly what you did last month with the people you did with last month, you can hit qualified producer for that 42%, right away, because you did it last month. The same people are going to reorder, right? The same thing. And if your goal is supervisor, it's that the rest of that gap from 2000 that's going to really be what we get to come up with, right? That extra 1,000 volume points. And this is where like tracking what you've done already is really helpful, because number one, all the clients you worked with, they're getting results, right? They're going to start posting the results. You can post the results. They may have people in their life that want to get started with them. So from those people, you can already get more people as referrals. So knowing what your client's next step is so important. So if they love their program, hey, is anyone noticing your results? Right? If they need even more results because they have a trip coming up or a wedding in June, hey, we want to add Progressa. Right? So knowing where your client is that you have already and their next step can be helpful to help bridge that gap. And then the consistent action you did last month, Kirsa, or for everybody, like to get people on the phone, or like Rebecca doing those, those phone calls with everybody. That's what we want to keep doing, so we also have new people. All right? So it's like what you've done already, it's going to happen again this month. And then the rest of it, where is that coming from? So Bill, like this is your first month, brand new, you're working on your own results, right? And you can always help people know like, hey, do this with me. But it takes work so people know that they can do it with you, right? So you can get with Meeks and Joe and like let them know like, hey, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to invite 100 people a week to Fit Camp, because that's where you came from, right? And from those 100 people, 20 will show up, right? And then Meeks and Joe will sit down with you and them and help them get on programs. And that's how you can get to senior consultant, right? But it takes you inviting the 100 people to get there. So it's knowing like what steps to take, right? And like Kurt and Alan, like out in Indiana, you guys barely started halfway through the month. So if you guys could do 1,000 volume points between the both of you guys in 2 weeks, hey, let's just up that. You guys have the hustle piece down. Let more people know. Let those girls know, like, hey, you bring 3 people and your shake's on me, and they bring 6 people each, right? So it's like knowing, like, okay, if I do the same work, what else can I do to bridge the gap so both of you guys can be at 50% by the end of this month, right? So knowing that gap is super important, because that's where you see exactly your action plan, and you get to utilize the gauge sheet that we had last week. We'll repost it, but that's where you get to really see like, okay, what work am I doing? What are my 3 things that I'm inviting to? Right? And as you see the work, you'll see the results from every daily action, so that you know that you're on track to hit those goals. So I'll post my gauge sheet from the last week, and like as an example, and then we'll post a blank one, and it'll help. Like, doesn't matter if you're super part-time or you're all the way full-time. Your goals are your goals, right? So those are personalized to you. Don't get intimidated by anyone's goals. If they're more than yours, less than yours, no worries, right? We all have individual goals, but you got to come up with your goals based on what you want to do in the marketing plan, okay? So if you want to have 5 clients a week, 5 clients a week in a month is 20 clients, right? So you're going to be 2,000 volume points, 2,500 volume points in that month with those 20 people. So we'll send that out, and if you can get with your coach just to fill it out based on how you want to be building your business, it'll be really simple. So every day you wake up, and even if you're part-time, like you go to work or you go to school, you know, like, hey, I need to invite 30 people today, okay? So if I have school in the morning, in the afternoon after school, I'm going to invite 30 people. Or like Alan, if he's working from early morning, like on his break, he can message a few people, right? After work, he can post and tag a few people to invite to the fit camp on Thursday. So it's just like knowing what your goals are, what your daily action you're choosing, and the time you really have in your day. Because we don't want to overwhelm ourselves, but we also want to know it takes daily action, right? So it's just having it in front of you so that you see what you need to do. And it's all of us holding each other accountable to that. All right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yep. And then you guys too, just piggybacking off of that, I want us to all make sure we're utilizing our resources. I say that to myself as well as I say it to you guys. That gauge sheet, the most important thing, even if it's a 0 that you're filling in for the day, is that you start with a set goal, right? So understanding, let's say Joe wants to do 10K this month in volume. She knows that at the end of every week, some way, somehow, she needs to have 2,500 documented volume points. So just making sure you set that goal for the week and you stay consistent in whatever actions you're taking to get it, even if it's zeros for one whole week and then the next week you double. You know what I mean? But it's just the result of you being in action. Utilize our chats, utilize your upline, your sidelines. We can all learn something from each other, okay, guys? Like, never take that away. You can learn from Kirsta and Rebecca, new in the business. Bill may be able to do something we're overlooking, right? So just utilize your resources, learn about some new products, make sure you're plugging into your monthly events and training, because we signed up to have our own business, guys. So we have to treat it as such. And I say that to myself big time as well. We have to like go hard for ourselves and go hard for those around us so we can set the example. And this business rewards you in so many ways. So just really make sure you utilize, you have questions. There's no such thing as a dumb one, ask it. I always have a question. The moment you don't have a question, be worried. Seriously, guys. But great job to everybody. I'm happy to see Kurt and Alan on this call. Cheers. Oh. But yes, guys, homework, I would say for all of us, let's figure out what extra pop-ups or maybe partnerships that we can do consistently throughout the weeks to make sure it helps us hit our goals that we have for ourselves. And what that does also, it gives you a new network of people. So let's all think outside the box. Let's put in the chat once we figure out where that's going to be or who that's going to be with and what that action is, and don't count anybody out. So even if you guys do some teas, you're not at 50% yet, but you're mobilely registered, do tea, guys. Tea is inexpensive. People love tea. It's something they can grab real quick, okay? Cool. Now let's open up. Anybody have questions or like anything they experienced they want to share? Safe place. Go ahead.
So go
We
ahead.
got room for the girls back there. Hit it.
Go ahead, sissies.
Anything I want to share? Well, I think for me, experiencing like growing in the business, for me, it's about really being intentional and just putting in the time and the effort into people in your org. You know, helping them to understand, like Joe put a lot of time into me and everything I've learned from her. Just make sure that you do that and just keep on duplicating that. I think that's what I've seen that really works. It's really.
I love that, Mix. And knowing that you do have a lot of other commitments, you know, like you're really busy. Don't think you have to do all of it by yourself. Like Joe's always there for you. Like we'll always do calls for you. Like no matter anywhere that you need support, like we're gonna do it with you. So because we want the new people to feel supported, and like you have a lot going on, so we want to make sure that you feel good at the same time. So that may be something to learn this month, is like how to utilize the team. Like, you know, hey, like Joe is great at casting vision and enrolling people into the team and into the movement, right? So anyone that you want to do for that, like get them in front of Joe, right? Rebecca is learning how to do those calls for getting people on plans, right? Have her help you do the plan calls, right? Bria is awesome at helping break down exactly what people need to do so they feel supported and they know everything that is going to help them get the results. Use Bria for that, you know? So like, we're all here to support you in any way, right? Like, so that's an amazing thing to recognize because you have a growing team. It's an amazing thing to recognize, and don't put all the pressure on you. Okay. We're all here to help you do that. Right. But that was a great point.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm still trying to figure out what my business looks. I'm not quotations. I am a business owner. But like, what does
Yes.
that look like? Because I know I'm social media, but I also know I'm a mixture of everything. So it's like, I guess I'm trying to figure out. Because I don't want to just try a bunch of stuff and have it like come out to everybody like, oh, she's just spaz or something. But like, honestly, I just want to figure out like where's the starter point for that to figure out what actually works.
I got you. Rebecca, this is where a 90-day plan comes in, right? So we honestly have to stay consistent that long to really see if our actions are really working for us. So it's not a place of you to get discouraged, but it's a place for you to be very transparent. So if you are doing social media, make yourself a daily method of operation sheet. It's called a DMO. On this day, maybe you're sharing your meal prep. Every day, are you sharing that you're having your shake and tea on your story? What things do you want to post? And you have to figure out what feels natural and what's not going to be overly forced for you. But no, you do have to like put in the work to be uncomfortable. But I like to say for me, social media is a funnel. I meet people out, I meet them maybe on social media, but what they're going to do, they're going to watch you. So then that next challenge invite, those people are going to like slide into those DMs like, hey, that's me, I want to participate. And then you take those steps to wellness profiles or inviting them to Fit Camp. But you have to stay consistent for 90 days to see if something is really working for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Rebecca, you get to also look at like what you're passionate about and what you have fun doing, you know, like Meek's like almost like a professional MMA fighter, like, you know what I mean? Like she loves working out, right? Same with Joe, right? But if you also love working out, that's going to be where you invite a lot of people to, right? If you love like the calls like this where you can connect with people and it can be it doesn't have to be or. It can be you do the fit camps and the challenges, and that gives purpose to every conversation you have, and it gives purpose to every post you post instead of just doing it to like, hey, maybe someday I'll get a client. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So for example, like was that even last week or 2 weeks ago, Joe was talking about she was at the pool with you and she was talking to the woman about her leggings, and she's so excited about Fit Camp that she invited that person to Fit Camp. And the way she did it was exchanging her on social media, right? So she used social media to be able to invite someone to Fit Camp. So you can use both ways, but like it's something that she's passionate about. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
So no matter what funnel you use, like whether it's talking to people in person and plugging them into your social media or reaching out to new people on social media, make sure you're doing it in like with purpose to something that you're excited about. Because then like your energy behind it is gonna basically like make or break their experience, really. Because if you're super excited about what you're doing, they'll be excited with you.
So just a little for anybody that's new on the call too, especially like Kurt and those guys. So not all of my folks come to Fit Camp, right? And so we talked about it. We sat down as a team and I said, do you know why your downlines or why your clients aren't coming to Fit Camp? They're like, no, I'm like, because you're not coming to Fit Camp. I said, you cannot invite someone to something that you're not going to. So raise your hand if you went to Fit Camp for the first time this weekend. Hey. What do you guys think of Fit Camp? It was fun. They both boxed for the first time, and then directly after, they're like, I heard them ask me if they could buy the boxing gloves and where to buy them. I was like, y'all, you don't even have to buy them. I bought extra pairs. Just take them, and they're yours to like work with your clients. But that was the excitement. They realized what Fit Camp is about, and it's not about like doing an hour-long intense workout. You can jump in, you can jump over and drink shake teas with your clients.
Yes.
Maybe finding, like Rebecca's a super creative. That's just who she is. I know Kurt also is a creative. And so like finding how you can invite people to do something Fit camp doesn't appeal to a large population of people in Reading, but brunch does. Sitting in the sun, sipping energy teas and shakes definitely does. People started coming to Fit Camp to get shakes and teas before the Fit Camp even started, just to do brunch. So you might be our brunch baby. Like you might be like, hey, come shakes, teas, and look at the eye candy. You don't have, and that goes for everybody. You don't have to be the person that is, leading the Fit Camp. You can be the person that is inviting all your friends to come and, sip under the shade and like get those, literally, I don't care if y'all are out in lawn chairs walking off the Dale, do 100 push-ups. That's dope.
That's torture.
Let's go.
Yo, like Joe is so right, guys. Like even with our results, we all have to be consistent. We all have days where it's like, oh crap, I know I could have done a lot better. But in the dark, if we're not getting our results for like 3 weeks and we're just posting about Shake Tea, get your Herbalife program, you're not gonna see the reward that you want to see for that, the results. You're not gonna see it because we're not being consistent. So I know for me, I'm excited. My little 4-pack is popping.
Yes.
It's coming. So you will have to always stay excited about your results. Show up to Fit Camp. If you're going to invite to Fit Camp, be there. You know what I mean? Rebecca, if you want to do brunch, make herbal waffles. People love herbal waffles. Yeah, so that's just something. Maybe have a brunch party and you can get everybody on a healthy breakfast thing, make it fun for them. Boom, 500,000 documented volume points. The more people you invite, and they love it, make them love it. Be fun, be you. Don't try to like reinvent yourself for this business. Ever.
Yeah, great advice, Frida. We talked about that. A lot of our team are very, very much, I would say, creative. So we talk about all the time, plug your passion. So continue doing what you're passionate about, and then just plug that into Herbalife with the community that you're already engaging with and serving.
Yep. Yep. Meek, you better have a guitar and sip party. Like. Everything. If someone can paint, have a paint and sip, of course, sipping something, a margarita tea, like Mira's favorite. But guys, it's we've got less than a minute here. It's so awesome. Everybody hopped on the call tonight. We have to make this a habit, and no matter what, for us to help us grow with each other, because we all got to sit VIP at Extravaganza. Cool. Okay. Great.
Yes.
Take a selfie or a
Everyone send their daily actions and everything into the chat too, so we can hold each other accountable. It's Monday. Like, this is a great way to start the whole week strong and the whole month, right? Smile.
Say cheese. Y'all are crazy. Wait, do one more. Kirsta's head got cut off. She's so little. All of you guys are really short, by the way. All right, guys,
We're fun size.
Yeah, your fun size. Let's kill it this week. Post your gauge sheets. If you don't have one yet, get it, fill it out, set your goals, okay? And even everything you did for today.
Let's go.
Awesome. Love you guys.
Bye, guys.